This is my presentation on the experience with e-learning module. You will see in this presentation 5 different experiences of how I converted my face-to-face classes into e-modules, experiencing working with different teams. One of them is a team specially compiled to produce e-modules from the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. Another professional company for e-modules called Tatweer. My third experience is with a studio, very sophisticated studio for producing documentaries called La Vue. And then in my Faculty of Engineering in Shams University, the smart classroom, which was established or by a Chinese company and located at our Faculty of Engineering in Shams University. My last experience is my individual efforts to use YouTube to upload my distant learning lecture. The first experience with the MCIT team, and these are the 2 examples. I provided 4 courses, 2 on SDGs and higher education, and 2 on report writing for engineers. The presentation template is very sophisticated, and it has a previously designed slides. And I have to abide with this particular design since it includes the partners of a project called eProfEng for lifelong learning of engineers. And these slides shows the introduction, objectives, and the table of contents. And then for each lesson, there is a lesson number, introduction, objectives, and subtitles. And there is a course 3, summary and glossary. And this has to do with all the 4 courses I developed. We have to provide also slides for references, for topic summary and topic references. There is a content chapter list that was kept being modified with time because we were working together on the perfect outcome of this particular experience. And in this checklist, we give you something you have to provide at the level of structure of each chapter, the table of content, and the objectives of the chapter, and even the contents of each element. With some important comments, we have to provide summary, quiz, references, glossary. Then they updated the checklist because they discovered that we can even improve the output. And they send me comments. And we had a lot of conversation between me and the team. And the team is composed of young IT professionals at the ministry trained to develop such courses. But from my experience, I found that some of the suggestions of these young colleagues were unacceptable by me. And you can see here that after we agreed on the contents of the chapter, they give me a comment saying that after reviewing chapter 1, 2, and 3, the 3 chapters can be merged into 1 chapter because they cover the same kind of information. What are SDGs? Of course, they should have told me or discussed this with me at the beginning, not in the comments. Therefore, I disagreed with this, and I kept the original design because I am the original subject matter expert, not them. They give me more comments on the slide. They have an army of people writing comments on slides. But the steps of implementation in general can be summarized as to submit the PPT of the course, to discuss the contents of slides with the team, and to respond to comments by the production team. My reflections about this experience that it was a very lengthy procedure. There is a lot of long unnecessary discussion on material because the developers or the young colleagues, they are not the subject expert they are just helping me. Not everything they needed can be provided by myself, and not everything I want can be implemented by them. Why? Because the software they're using has certain limitations. It can do some things and it can't do other things. In this particular application, there is no interaction between the SME and the students, and this is the basic concept of this type of e-module. The students will not see the subject matter expert. Therefore, this is the reason why we have very lengthy details so that the instructor does not communicate with the students. After we finished the 4 courses, we had a learning management system of the big project, eProfEng website, where only project partners can access the material, and the material is not accessible to the public. These are the photograph with the young team members, and this is in my room preparing for a short video clip. In this, I'm going to show there are 4 of them or even more. I'm going to show only a couple of them. This is an introduction to my course on Sustainable Development Goals. The course contains 5 chapters. Chapter 1 talks about Introduction to Sustainable Development Goals and shows how the World Bank classifies the countries in the world according to their geographical location and their economic situation. The second chapter goes one by one through the 17 development goals from goal number 1 to goal number 17 with descriptions and facts and figures about each one. The third chapter talks about targets and indicators for each goal, going through how the targets are articulated and how the indicators are stated to measure the progress in each country in the world. Chapter 4 is an interesting chapter, especially for engineers, because it shows how infographics are used to describe the details and the actual situation of the SDGs in different parts of the world. The 5th chapter and the last one connects the trainers with SDGs, where they know how their work is connected to the SDGs that were explained in the previous chapters. My name is Dr. El-Bahrawy. I am professor at the Faculty of Engineering, Ain Shams University. This is an introduction for my course, Writing for Engineers. The course has 5 chapters. The first chapter talks about engineering writing styles in terms of how you write an engineering text. It goes through a lot of examples that shows the writer what to take care of in writing academic and engineering texts. Chapter 2 talks about a subject called Structure and Appearance of Technical Text. We give attention not only to the logical progress of the information in the text, but also about the eye-pleasing qualities of the technical text. We do that by learning what makes your text understandable, legible, in terms of structure and appearance. The third chapter is called Writing with Computers. This chapter is about writing with computers, where we use the capabilities of Microsoft Word to write an interesting technical text, taking into consideration the concepts that we discussed in the previous chapter. Chapter 4 is about English language. English language may be an obstacle for some Egyptian engineers whose mother tongue is not English. Therefore, I tried in this chapter to explain some of the English grammar details in an easy way for engineers to remember and use to prepare their text. The last chapter is, in my humble opinion, the most important subject, because it talks about converting numerical data into graphics. We will go through a very long tour of starting with the history of the very early graphics and infographics developed by people a long time ago, and ending up with using Microsoft Excel to prepare graphs from numerical data. We connect between 2 important things: the type of the data and the type of graph suitable for the kind of data. We go to the website of the project because there are too many programs, about 22 e-modules. I cover only 4 of them, representing Ain Shams University. Then this is how you enter into the my courses, and the introductory videos that you have seen, you can listen to them inside the website. This is how it is arranged, where people can go to any chapter according to their preferences. The other experience is with the Tatweer company. Tatweer company is a professional group of people. The subject I will cover is Introduction to Network Hydraulics. The style is different from the previous experience. Why? Because I developed only one lecture as a pilot project. This project is a different project called Center of Excellence for Water with the American and Egyptian universities. And the lecture is recorded by me. The script was extracted by the company, and then it was reviewed and edited. And then we make a storyboard for shooting and discuss on the slide animation and shoot inside a video. We shoot the instructor who reads from a moving screen like you see on TV. The outcome of the pilot project, we have 2 videos. One short video called a teaser or trailer, which tells the viewers why they should watch the lecture and the lecture itself with some animation, and you'll see very good work. This is the teaser or the trailer of the lecture. Water is very important for human beings, and engineers, they make life of people better. Why? Because they design the networks that supply water to people and also design the networks that take their wastewater into treatment plants. This lecture tries to explain how engineers handle the hydraulics of these networks in a simple way. And for those who may be interested in how we solve the system of equations, I added some mathematical part that can be a bit complex for some audience. Hello, I am Professor El-Bahrawy from the Faculty of Engineering, Ain Shams University. Today's lecture is an introduction to network hydraulics. There are 3 types of hydraulic networks that we are going to study. One is for pipe irrigation, the second for water distribution, and the third for drainage collection. Each of these 3 types have different details that we are going to discuss together. As you can see, this very short part of the lecture is very long. And then we compare between the previous 2 experiences. The MCIT develops entire course with more stress on slides design. The Tatweer develops only 1 lecture as a pilot. The steps are simpler, the output looks different, and the time taken to correct the script is a bit lengthy. The 2 systems can't be compared easily since the objective and procedures are very different. The third experience is La Vue experience. It's a professional lab and studio, and the subject will be optimal design of water distribution networks. This is some photos with the team that works with me, and this is a lecture optimal design of water supply systems. The reproduction of text or figures is unsatisfactory in my opinion. The camera in studio is more advanced. The moving screen to read from is much better compared to my second experience. The inclusion of Excel demo videos makes the lecture more interactive. And this is an illustrative example. It's a bit technical, considering networks and optimization. And this is some photographs of the studio itself. And this is a lecture promo looks like the teaser before. Then this is a part of the lecture. I choose a small portion of the long lecture.
Hello, my name is Dr. El-Bahrawy. I'm professor of hydraulics at the Faculty of Engineering in Shams University. Our lecture today is titled Optimal Design of Water Supply Pipe Systems. We are going to use optimization methods for the optimal design of water supply pipe systems. But before doing that, it's important to understand the basic hydraulic and economic concepts. We are going to give several examples to demonstrate the use of optimization methods. For most calculations, except for the last examples, we are going to use spreadsheets for calculations.
That's enough for the lecture. Now we are going to move to my fourth experience with the smart classroom at the Faculty of Engineering.
Our lecture today is about types of questions used for large number of students, especially at the beginning years of the faculty. The contents of the lecture will include definition and examples of MCQ, and then questions of the type true, false, and matching questions. Then we are going to have a look at the bubble sheet used the faculty here, and then I will discuss my own type of questions that I am suggesting is called the matrix question.
Enough for this lecture. Go to the second one. This is the second module.
My lecture today is about my experience with the software used to compile examination questions called Schoolhouse Test. Optical mark recognition, also called as optical mark reading or OMR, is a process of capturing human mark data from document forms such as surveys and tests. They are used to read questionnaires, multiple choice examination paper in the form of shaded areas. There are different commercial software used in Egypt, like Remark and Correct, used by other universities. Our faculty uses Schoolhouse Test software.
Of the lecture, then I am going to go to the third module.
And this lecture, the third in a series, speak about design of examination paper that has different aspects that we haven't discussed in the previous two lectures. The design of examination paper, the contents of the presentation will include an introduction, speaks about the difference between legibility and readability of text. Then we talk about typography and the top 10 fonts. Then writing with Microsoft Word, and a section about literature review to see that other people think similarly. And the last slide shows the exam paper instructions adopted by the Faculty of Engineering according to my comments.
Thank you for this part of the lecture. Now we comment on the experience with the smart classroom. It is available on campus. I don't need to mobilize myself to go to different places. But the full capabilities of the room is not used because we don't have a specialized person taking care of the facilities available. There is no full-time staff, and the quality of the screen should be improved as you have seen in the previous 3 examples. The last experience is on my YouTube. I have a YouTube channel that have about 150 videos, but when you go to the playlists and you choose my online courses, this is where you find my lectures. Some of the videos I have shown you are on my YouTube, but there is a lot of lectures which I teach at the Faculty of Engineering because of the COVID-19, and they are available. And this is my last experience. In the previous slides, we reviewed the experience to produce different e-modules by several service providers. We have seen the MCIT, the Tatweer, the Lavi, the Smart Classroom, and my YouTube. The presented experience can benefit colleagues who like to convert their usual face-to-face lectures into e-modules. And in my opinion, even with the best e-module techniques, the education process will not be complete without the face-to-face interaction between students and instructor provided by normal classes.